a mother.
I'm a mother! No drama!
You in charge of the girls, right?
I am in charge of the girls.
Are you in charge of the girls?
I am in charge of the girls.
Hey there, it's your girl Vitamin Key, and this is Level Up Single Mom. Level Up Single Mom is the platform where I teach single mothers and Black women how to self-actualize with ease and grace. And I'm coming to you the day after the Grammys of 2025, where Beyonce won Grammys for Best Country, Duo or Group Performance for Most Wanted, Best Country Album, and Best Overall Album. And I'm so happy for her. I know she's been striving for her whole career to get this award, specifically the album award, the Best Album Award. So I'm so happy for her. And I saw a lot of people making content about it. So that was really nice to wake up to. But I wanted to talk about something that I've actually been enjoying very much so about this new phase of Beyonce's career and her life, truthfully and honestly, and that is her platforming of her oldest daughter, Blue Ivy. Beyonce and Blue have such a beautiful bond, and I really enjoy watching her being Blue Ivy, just grow and blossom and get very comfortable and seeming to desire to walk in the footsteps of her mother. But mostly I enjoy watching her mother literally mother her through the process, and I'll explain what I'm talking about. So you see I don't know if it was a little mini documentary or whatever, when Beyonce is talking about how Blue Ivy wanted to be a part of her Renaissance tour and her reservations about that, and so then like acquiescing and saying, okay, you can do one show, and seeing her do the show and recognizing her drive and interest and commitment to getting better and everything, and then just making her a part of the tour as a whole. It's so beautiful to see in practice why it is so important to self-actualize as a woman and a mother. When you are self-actualized or self-actualizing, because it is an ongoing process, I don't believe it ever really stops. What you're able to do is what a lot of people try to do by just the do as I say, not as I do type of thing. A lot of people do not ever really truly live their lives. A lot of people are not brave enough, for whatever reason, and a lot of good reasons, to go for the life that they want and become the person that they always wanted to be, because they feel like, oh, well, I missed my shot, or I'm too old, or, I don't have the things I need, and I'm probably never going to have the things I would need to be able to do that, the resources, the connections, the opportunities, etc. And so what they'll do is they'll try to micromanage their children and maybe even other people around them, because they believe that by trying to get you to do the things that they did not have the gumption to do, or to keep you from making the same mistakes that they believe they've made or whatever, they just feel like they can be your coach that you didn't ask for to guide you into the most desirable type of life. But when it comes to Beyonce and Blue Ivy, like I said, she is a demonstration of how and why it is so important for you to focus all that energy that we will tend to try to put on other people because we're too scared to put it on ourselves. Right back on yourself. Push yourself to do the work that you feel like other people need to do or could get success from doing. Push yourself to keep going, even though it seems hard, or it seems like it's too late, or you're just not really fully sure how it's going to get done. Whatever it is, when you apply yourself to actualizing within your own life experience, you actually do all the heavy lifting of providing an example for your children. Like I said, a lot of people rely way too heavily on the do as I say, not as I do, not recognizing that you can yell, you can scream, you can try to browbeat and force these kids to do what you want them to do, but they're still watching you. They still see what's going on, and they're still having to process the things that are not being spoken about or acknowledged in both you and them. And so they're just kind of left to navigate all of that stuff while still trying to please you, and they're going to fall short, because that's just the nature of being a human being. You're going to fall short, and they're going to fall short because they don't even really want to be doing a lot of that stuff sometimes. There's so many kids that are just trying so hard to please their parents or their parental figures, and you set them up now for a generational habit, pathology of self-denial, of not self-actualizing and just projecting all of this burden onto the next generation. So I wanted to talk a little bit about why it's so important to self-actualize as a mother, and especially as a single mother. So a bit of background. I've spoken before on this platform about how I have a daughter that is now 20 years old, and I have a younger daughter that is 10 years old. But I had my oldest daughter right when I turned, right before I turned 19. So I got pregnant when I was 18. And that was supposed to be the beginning of my life. You know what I mean? I had been waiting and waiting and waiting so long to be able to be considered quote unquote an adult so that I could be in control of my own life. Nobody could tell me what to do. This is how I thought in my mind. Nobody could tell me what to do. I can make my own choices. I can go where I wanted to go. I had a reputation for being an intelligent child and someone who was destined for great things. So my expectations for myself was that I was going to go to college. I was going to get, a good job. I was going to live probably a very metropolitan lifestyle and jet set and go where I wanted to go and travel and become very worldly. And so getting pregnant right inside the threshold of this new experience, put the kibosh on all that, at least from what I understood. See, I came from a family. I was the third generation of a teen mother, and my grandparents who raised me, and we're married and we were all in the same household, whatever. What I've come to realize as an adult is that even though I was provided with all the love and support and comfort, I'm talking about emotional comfort, and I have not had the negative experiences that forced me to grow up in certain ways and develop certain types of street smarts or whatever that other people have experienced, and I feel very privileged for that, and I say that all the time. I still was so sheltered and didn't get a lot of the examples. I didn't get to sit up under people who were living a lifestyle I actually wanted to live. Again, I want to be clear. I'm not trying to insult or downplay any and all of the privilege and support that I've gotten in my life that I'm very well aware of and grateful for. But what I'm saying is sometimes we are in situations where we're surrounded by what we need, but we're not necessarily being prepped to go after what it is we may also want. There's this belief, especially in the Black community, that like if you get what you want, you're not necessarily getting what you need. Or on the flip side, if you get all your needs met, and your needs being like the stuff you need to just literally survive, that you should be grateful and you shouldn't really want anything else. And so there doesn't leave a lot of room for flexibility there. There doesn't leave a lot of room for even exploring ways to achieve both. And that's another reason why I love the example of Beyonce, because she is someone who, a lot of times, I've said this, we could just talk about this in Themis' Discord, where this man was observing a rich person and he said, oh yeah, but I'm rich. I'm just rich in a different way. I got love. And, and I was just kind of like rolling my eyes, not because it doesn't have to be true, but I think when a person does that after having observed a rich person, it's more of a cope than we like to believe. So it's like, look, when I'm observing somebody, don't try to bring me back down into this, oh, but I'm poor and that's okay. Like, no, we're not getting into that energy. You know what I mean? If possible. But, yeah, this idea that rich people do not have the type of love and stability and support and bond with the people in their life, especially their children. There is this notion that super duper rich couples with children are very cold and distant and don't put a lot of time into cultivating emotional bonds with their children. So to see someone as successful and hardworking and rich as Beyonce bonding with her daughter in a way that I can relate to, because I did the same thing, is like really, really cool. I love it so much. So I had my child at 18 years old. I found myself just kind of resigning myself to working retail, just doing whatever I could do to provide for my child at the level that I could. So that means I gave up on going to school, to college, and I was really sad about it because that was a complete diversion from the life plan that I had set up for myself before becoming a quote unquote adult. And I was miserable. I was miserable for it. And because I was miserable, I wasn't the best to be around. I wasn't the best mommy. I wasn't as open and inclusive with my daughter. Like, I was very cold because her whole existence, even though I didn't mean to set it up like that, even though I didn't mean to set it up this way within my mind, but basically her existence was the cause of me not being able to become the person I'd always believed I wanted to be. And that was just the long and the short of it. Even though that's not something that I thought of in that way, like in those words, that was how I was actually feeling, and I wasn't acknowledging it. And so therefore I wasn't processing it and kind of like reframing it so that I could not carry it around with me. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So for that reason, I was not a very nice mommy to my oldest daughter for a long time. And I remember I was on welfare, and I found out that they would give you some money to go to school if you wanted to go to school. And I used to do people's hair, just, here and there for a little pocket change or whatnot. And I remember my aunt was like, why don't you go to hair school and get your license? So that way, maybe if you want to, you can try and get a shop of your own or whatever. But you seem like it's something you're good at. You enjoy it. And it can be very lucrative. So try that. And I said, okay. So I went to the welfare office and I told them I wanted to go to hair school, and I did all the things. I signed all the papers. And so I was able to get some money towards, because they didn't pay the whole thing, but I was able to get some money towards my cosmetology license education. And I was licensed in the year 2007. And I've maintained my license ever since then. And so I didn't start working at salons consistently right away. Like, I went to a couple different places, and I was like an assistant at one place for, I said, a better part of a year, and I left there. And then I went to this other place, and they were really nice people, but they didn't have a lot of foot traffic. And I have never really mastered the art of promoting myself in that way. Like, there's a lot of different things with me. It's just, I don't feel like that's my thing to get put on, if you know what I mean. It's not because my ability is not there, but there's a certain type of hustle that you need to have to do hair and makeup that I just didn't have. And so I did wind up working for a place here in Philly that just happened to be, I got in right before their come up, and I was able to be one of the people that helped that place to get put on the map here in Philly in terms of doing the quick weaves, the $50 weaves or whatever like that. And I met a bunch of amazing women, young women, because we were really young at that time, and just had a lot brought into my life. But the most important thing is, because at the time when I started working there, I was actually working for TSA at the airport, and I hated it. I hated the uniform. I hated the restrictions on, how I could wear my hair and stuff like that, because I was in an experimental phase. I'm a cosmetology license holder, so I'm definitely adventurous. I'm in my early 20s, early to mid 20s, and we were in the, what was that, the aughts? That was like 2000. I started working at TSA in 2008, and then I went to start working at that hair salon in addition to that in 2010. And by 2011, I wound up quitting TSA because I was doing so well at the salon. So anyway, to try to make a long story short, working in a hair salon atmosphere is very, it's communal, and, it's matriarchal and anything. So there were times when I wouldn't have a babysitter, or, stuff was going on with my daughter, and I didn't necessarily want to leave her somewhere else with someone else, because she could be a bit of a handful. And because I was working in these hair salons with these women who understood the struggle, a lot of times I was able to bring my oldest daughter with me to work. And I remember feeling a type of relief in those times that I had not had since I became a mother. And the reason for that is because I was completely alone in terms of the father with the responsibility of raising my daughter. I did not have the luxury of creating a schedule with him where, he picked her up sometimes and we could collaborate when he worked, when I worked. If something was going on, we could pass it back and forth. It was all on me. And he and I used to get into arguments a lot because he would try to downplay the fact that I was having to drop her off so much to be able to go to school or go to work, or let her visit with his family and my family. He would try to make it like, well, you're not really raising her, you're just dropping her off here and there. And I'm like, okay, but even that is a deviation from me being able to just focus on me and what it is I'm trying to do and how I'm trying to spend my time outside of being a mother. You know what I mean? Like, even if that was the only thing I was doing, which it was not, it still was more than what he was doing, which was just traipsing across the nation, moving from state to state at will, jumping into this relationship, jumping into that relationship, making a bunch of kids everywhere, as if he was unencumbered with the actual burden of raising children. And that's what it felt like for me. It felt like a burden. I felt burdened by motherhood. And so once I made the transition from working, like I said, straight jobs, quote unquote, where I was just an automaton, or expected to be an automaton, a worker doing these things that I cared nothing about, knowing all this policy and procedure and stuff solely for the purpose of being able to function enough to not get fired and collect these checks. once I was able to transition from that into working at a job that I was actually interested in, that, you know, lit me up and I would do for free and had done for free before, there was a lightness to it. And to be able to bring my child there, who, like I said, was always on my mind in the sense of, okay, even if I drop her off here, I got to be gone by a certain time because I got to pick her up by a certain time because this person is, their time is limited to watch her, etc., etc. I was able to eliminate some of the things that were on my plate and make it more digestible. And I was able to let her see me happy. She was able to see me happy. She was able to see me in my element. She was able to see me doing things that I was good at. She was able to see me interacting with other women and, you know, the women coming in, getting their hair done, coming in feeling one type of way and leaving out feeling so much better and happier because they felt like they looked better. She was able to see a lot of positivity around womanhood. She was able to see expressions of womanhood. She was able to participate. And not only that, you know, in my downtime when she was there, I was able to do her hair, you know what I mean? So that eliminated some of my stuff off the plate for the week coming, you know what I mean? Like, it was just so much about it that created a space of ease and positivity and lightness and fun that did not exist when I was solely focused on providing and facilitating the day-to-day minutia of, you know, our lives. And so that's why I say I am so touched and excited every time I see Blue Ivy in the background or at the foreground of Beyonce's performances, because yeah, hell yeah, you know what I mean? Like, hell yeah, she's able to bond with her child, whereas before she had to spend so much time away from her children and things like that. And this is a really important time for Blue Ivy, being that she's in adolescence now. I was looking at the dress that she had on at the Grammys and just remembering how everybody was going off about the dress she wore to the Lion King premiere, and this one was a bit more than I was like, oh my god, the girl got nitties, you know. But being that, again, this is her mother and her mother has been through this and everything, she literally can walk her through, walk her through all of the process, because this would have been happening anyway. People would have been judging her body and this and that and the other anytime they saw her, even if she wasn't actually performing. But she gets to have the benefit of still being able to experience the work aspect of it and the accomplishment, you know, with her mommy. She gets to go up there and stand with her mommy and be a part of her mommy's successes and be a part of her mommy's self-actualization. Like, it's just so beautiful. I love it so much. My heart is so full. I love it so much. So anyway, I feel like I'm rambling at this point, but I just wanted to highlight that it is so important for us as single mothers to find and do the things that make us happy, that light us up, that bring us to life, and to allow our children to witness it and also to be a part of it if possible, because you're killing multiple birds with one stone. If you're especially if you're someone who feels like you are a martyr, you're just always doing everything for everyone else and you never have time for yourself and you just give and oh, that's just what a mother is. And I'm telling you, you need to break that habit. You need to find a way to integrate more of yourself and your true desires, your true aspirations, who you thought you could and would and wanted to be before becoming a mommy, into your motherhood journey and your motherhood routine. You are going to be so much better for it. It is going to take a load off of your mind, and all of the things that I know you are worried about and trying to account for and trying to do your due diligence about, like I said, will be accomplished in this positive, lighthearted, restful activity. My oldest daughter talks to me all the time about how she loved coming to work with me, and the workers, you know, the co-workers I had that would play with her, and some people that I still know, they ask about her to this day. It just was a wonderful communal experience, and I'm so glad now in retrospect, having spoken so many times about the bad times, I'm so glad that she retains this positive memory, so that I also had the wherewithal, or, you know, the opportunity to incorporate that into our experience with each other. And even now, when I am doing my speaking engagements for Level Up Single Mom and my different videos and stuff, like my oldest daughter still supports me. She will be my biggest fan. She'll repost my things and heart them and leave messages, comments. So I just think it's very important, especially with her having seen me at my lowest, and to see me now, to be able to note the difference. Like, it's never too late. Just know it is never too late to start over. It's never too late to give it a try, and your children will be better for it. And the thing is, by the time I had my second daughter, I kind of phased out of working in salons and I'm still going to different people's houses doing hair and stuff like that, but I was no longer working in a salon. But by the time I had my youngest daughter, I said this before, I was a completely different person, even outside of doing this, and I was better for having done that. So that aided in me being able to like create a goal for me in motherhood, to want to be like that all the time and to be able to be like that all the time. So now I'm inclusive in every way when it comes to my youngest daughter. You know, when I'm doing my homework for school, she could be right there. She has a lot of independence, so she may not sit right up under me, but if she wants to, she can. And I'm not feeling that same sense of bother that I used to, you know, when I was home with my oldest daughter, because everything that is happening within my life is something that I embraced, is something that I know does not have to impede me from doing anything else that I want to do. I know that now, and I demonstrate that for my children. Do not fear pleasure. Do not fear ease. Do not fear integration. Embrace it. And if you need an example, like I said, look to Beyonce, because she is doing it like nobody is doing it right now in terms of that, being a woman, being a person, and being a mommy at the same time. So that's my little 50 cents about that. If you like this video, if you like this conversation and you haven't already, please go and like, share, subscribe to this channel. You can go back into my library. I have so many things. We talk about single motherhood and Black womanhood in a very nuanced way. I like to hold space for Black women and single mothers specifically to talk about these uncomfortable things. You know, like I mentioned, being so upset about actually being a mother, but not processing it and being even worse of a mother because I did not feel like it was safe to talk about. I did not feel like it was even safe to feel that. And so I did not acknowledge that. But Level Up Single Mom is a place where we can talk about those uncomfortable, cringy, embarrassing, shameful things. And you're not going to be judged. You're not going to be dragged. You know, we will talk real about it, but it's not my desire or requirement for you to feel lesser for having talked to me in order to get better. You don't have to do that here. So please follow me, hit the bell button so you can get notifications when I do. Be notified when I do, because I only say something when I feel like I got something to say, so you don't want to miss that. And please like, share, and subscribe with anyone you think would be interested or helped by anything that you see here. So thank you for watching my video. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you on the next one.